Let's see if I can hear it. Let's see if I can hear it. I can hear it. Okay, cool. I can hear it. Perfect. What up, 21 Escape? How you doing? All right, I need to share this. Perfect. What up, 21 Escape? How you doing? I need to share this real quick in the old Discord. This time for financial advice. You're 16 years old? Well, welcome. Have you ever heard of me before? Financial advice. You're 16 years old? Well, welcome. Have you ever... Huh? If you've ever heard of me before, then that is awesome. Oh my god, I don't have the light on. Hold on. Ah, it's the sun! All right, perfect. Welcome back to another episode of Dr. Zach. I've been watching this show on Netflix, and it is called Your Rich Life, I believe is what it's called. How to Get Rich. Your dad's getting a 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn. Nice. So I've been watching this How to Get Rich show, and it's all about financial advice. And the guy actually does have some really good advice. I don't disagree with anything that he's saying, but I do know that I used to talk to you guys a lot about financial advice and about any kind of advice, really. So I would love to be able to talk to all of you about your finances. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about said finances, I have my phone number open. It is right there. It is 480-466-0927. That is my Google Voice number. You are more than welcome to give me a call and ask. I actually have a whole spreadsheet up, and I'm really, really excited about it. And I'll show you how I do my budget. I literally just did my budget for this year, and I was like, man, how can I teach these kids? So I'm gonna share it to you now. Which way looks better for my hat? This way or this way? Do I come across as like one of those hip youths? I mean, it keeps the light in my eyes, which is nice. But I would love to talk to somebody, or you can post it in the chat about what is happening with your finances, because I love talking about money. That is like the funnest thing ever. And then if nobody wants to talk about money, then maybe I can play some Hades. And I may or may not have been lying to you guys about not playing it without you watching. It's been a month. I mean, come on. Let's be real. Holy moly, somebody... No way. That's not real. Yeah, that's not real at all. That was scary. Somebody in my Discord, it says, this user is suspected to be part of an online terrorist organization. What? What in the world? Mr. AK Spot and Killer teaching us the youth what school failed teaches. Dude, welcome back, Wolfpack. Brand new Rams 1500. Yeah, that 5.7 Hemi V8 sounds probably amazing. But here's what I'm going to do. For those of you that are just sitting here, I'm actually going to show you. Because nobody's calling in. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you. So, what you don't know about finances. Oh my goodness gracious. There's so many things that I learned growing up about finances, and it was drilled into me at a young age, and I realized that not a lot of people... I forgot how the OG name went. Sorry, it's all good, Wolfpack. I remember you. I grew up very financially literate. There is a lot of people, through no fault of their own, that are not financially literate, for lack of a better word. Aphrodite says, best way to prep finances for divorce. That is a huge one. If you can talk to your partner or soon-to-be ex-partner, talk to them. If that doesn't work, talk to a divorce lawyer. You probably have to get like a mediator and talk to your soon-to-be ex-partner about the best way to resolve it. I would say through my own knowledge and or experience, it doesn't really help you if you take money and you move it to another account, because the court can just order to see that, and they'll be like, oh, you moved $5,000 into this account, why'd you do that? And you're like, well, I didn't want anybody to touch it when I get divorced. That being said, I know that there was that really like popular football player that like gave everything to his mom, and they couldn't really get anything out of the divorce because it was all in his mom's name. That being said, I would talk to an attorney, because divorce is definitely one of those things that can go really well or really bad, and you can end up paying for it forever. So be very, very careful. That is my advice on that. Talk to a lawyer. That was just off the cuff, knee-jerk reaction off the top of my head. But talking about financial intelligence, a lot of people don't know how to either A, do a budget, or B, they just don't know where their money is going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I do my budget. I do it manually for the most part. It's about 50% manual. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right now. Boop, boop. It is super simple. You open it up in Google Sheets, and it's literally, you find out what your fixed expenses are. This could be 1,800 cells long, so each one of these little things is called a cell. And then you have the stuff called the varying expenses. So that's the stuff that you don't know what's going to change from day to day, whereas the fixed expenses are the stuff that you know is not going to change, like your mortgage, or your rent, or your gym membership, or your Netflix membership, etc., etc. And then you have your credit cards, so that's for how much you're actually paying towards them. And then you have the total outcome, total income, and total profit for that month. Down here is also the total profit. You can't see it, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Ew, get out of here. Let me see here. Hold on. There we go. Why is that not showing over? That's weird. Okay, well, anyway, so like right over here is the total. But I can actually just take this total, and I can cut it, and I can paste it too right here. There we go. Cool. So you find out what your fixed expenses are. So obviously the biggest one is going to be like your rent / mortgage. And then you're going to have, let's say, Netflix and or your streaming services. Gross. I don't like the way that looks. Let's go like that. And then you're probably going to have maybe like a car payment. And then you're probably going to have insurance. And you can bundle all of these together. Like, it depends on how granular you want to get when you're trying to decide this. You can just say, all of my rent / mortgage has my renter's insurance, has like utilities, has all that other stuff. Like, it's all fixed, etc., etc. And then you have your varying expenses. So let's say that you do, I think pretty much every place that you live now has that. So you would have, like electricity. You'd have utilities. And then you'd have, I don't even know. And then all you do is you just put down for January, February, March, April, May, etc., etc. And let's say your rent is $1,000 a month. Your Netflix and streaming services is $20. Your car payment is $400 a month. And then your insurance is, let's say it's $600 for 6 months, so you'd put in $100 per month. What up, Nismo? Yeah, financial advice. I love talking about money. And then let's go ahead and say your varying expenses for your electric. Let's say for this month, it was $75, and for utility, it was $42. And then let's say most of the time you have to pay for water, and that would be like $12. And then you'd say for the month of December, I want to have like $1,000 credit card payment, or like a $500 a month credit card payment. And normally what I do is I normally put the last 4 of my credit card in there. So you can have multiple cards. So you can have 1, 2, 3, 4. You can have 4, 5, 6, 7. And let's say you paid $250 to this one. So then all you need to do is I have down here the keys. So you have the sum and then you have the minus. So for the total outcome, you just hit equals sum, and it says a sum of series of numbers. So you can just literally hit here, hold shift, go down here to the very bottom, and then close bracketed it, done. Your total income or your total outcome is $23.99. Now, what I did, how you can figure this out to make your life a little bit easier, is you can actually pull up your calculator and say, okay, I have $23.99, so $2,400 just to survive. You normally work about 160 hours per month. You need to make at least $15 an hour, roughly, quote unquote, in order to just meet your basic needs. Now, there's only so much cutting you can do when it goes down to your living expenses. Like, sure, you could probably negotiate a cheaper rate on your insurance. You could probably get rid of Netflix. There's a lot of things that you can trim up. However, I am of the theory that if it takes you a little bit longer to get to your financial goals, but you aren't miserable the entire time, like I've talked to some people and I'm like, dude, just cut Netflix out. That'll save you $20, $40, $100 a month. And they say, I use that to be sane. You can either do that, or you can cut it out and replace it with something else that is free. Maybe I'll go running, or maybe I'll go to the library and rent a book, or maybe I'll rent movies from the library, or maybe I'll use somebody else's account, which they cut down on. So you might not be able to do that anymore. But if you happen to do it, it will be cheaper than spending $20 a month. Then down here, you actually have your paychecks. So let's say that you are getting, $1,500, or, let's say that you're making, $20 an hour. So $20 an hour times 80, let's say it's a full-time job, you're making $1,600. Now, this is just a very rough type of budget. Now, your paycheck number 2, you're probably going to get that. But let's say that you work in sales, or let's say that you work in something that's commission, or let's say that you have a side hustle. And let's say that you're going to get, you're going to get a third paycheck of the month. And that's when you're like, holy cow, this is awesome. So let's say that that's another $500. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your total income, you're going to equal sum, and then what you're going to do is you're going to just grab from here, hold down shift and click here, then end bracket that. Your total income is here. Now what we're going to do is, I always mess this up, you're going to hit sum, no you're not, you're going to hit minus this, you're going to hit minus this from, I think it's that, nope, oh god, I made a fatal mistake, help, equals, minus, it's the difference of two numbers, so you think it's 3,700, nope, I lied, it is this one, comma, and then I think it is get out of here, B20. Please tell me that's right. Yeah, 1,300, that seems about right. So there is your total profit for the month. I'm not in Excel, I'm in Google Sheets. So now you have a good monthly view of where your finances are going. So let's say, that you actually pay off your car. So now you have, let's just take this and we'll go here and we'll paste it to here and we'll just paste it all the way out. I know you guys can only see, let's say all the way up until May. So let's say on February, you owe nothing on your car payment. So now it went from, and all of these are going to change. So now let's say that it's, let's say $70, then let's say $40, and then we'll say $20, what have you, right? And then let's say that you spent, let's say you still keep the same 500, 250. This is stressing out my ADHD. So now with you paying off, yeah, what's up, Tim? So now with you paying off of your car, you're getting another $400, an extra $400 a month. However, that's bringing up your total that your play money or invest or whatever it is that you want to do with it. It's now up to $1,700. I can turn up my mic. Actually, maybe turn up your speakers a little bit too. There we go. How about that? So, point being, if you take the stuff that you owe that you are able to pay off, like paying off your house is a big task, right? Um, Paying off your car is probably a little bit more manageable. If you pay off your car and you do like an extra payment, I always give the advice, call your loan company and say, if I pay this off early, do I get a penalty? Because sometimes there are penalties. So it's like, hey, if I pay a little bit more, is that going to hurt me? Right? And normally you can look at like house payments. Normally people will do that if they want to do like a 30-year down to a 15-year loan. You'll do an extra house payment because that will go towards the principal. That's a whole other ball of wax with interest versus principal and amortization. But using this, you're about to pay off your car tomorrow? Heck yeah. Enjoy that no car life. I would advise you to keep the car unless there's something crazy wrong with it and pocket that money for other cool things. Your dad's Fiat 500X has 171 miles on it. Most of the time, cars can go a very, very long time. But anyway, this will give you a very, very good glimpse into what your monthly income and monthly outcome is. That way, you know where you are financially. Like, always having, like, I always like to say, you should know where every dollar goes. And with this, you don't know where every dollar goes, but it's a pretty good idea. Like, even on this, I don't put down that I did my Steam games, that I didn't buy a game, I didn't buy an Xbox. I don't put it on there. However, it does come to light when I do pay off the credit card statement. So if I spend $200 on something and then I pay it off in this next month, so to $700, you'll know, oh, okay, I know that I made a little bit bigger purchases. Now, when you do this throughout your whole year, you'll be able to see, oh, okay, this is how much I made for this year. Like, there's some years where I went negative. There's some years where I went positive. This will just give you a good, like, holistic, not super granular view. I mean, you can make this as granular as you want. You could say, I want to track everything. I want to track where all of my money is going. And you can even put on here what your bank statements are. You can even put on here, like, the world's the sky's the limit. And it's very smart. If you do take $100 out of every paycheck and put it away, normally you should take like 10%, 20%, 30%, whatever, and just put it away or put it into some sort of device that will make you money. Because if you just leave it in your savings account, you're going to be losing money. You're going to be losing money based on inflation. It's not going to keep up. Like, savings rates right now are horrible. It's like 0.01%. So you're not going to make any kind of money. And you can take some of that stuff. What's up, Angel? You can take that money and you can put it into a CD. A CD is a certificate of deposit at your bank. It's not going to be like amazing rates or anything super crazy. But you're basically saying, here, bank, I'm going to give you $2,500, or I'm going to give you $500, or I'm going to give you $20,000 or $200,000, and I'm going to let you hold on to it for a set amount of time, and from that set amount of time, you're going to give me some money back. So that's the way that you can make passive income. To answer your question, Dr. Bowtie, aka Tim, if you have a CD, let me just look up most popular CD rates. So right here, you can look lock in interest rate. I'm going to take myself and make myself smaller. Or actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take myself and go whoop. I will move myself down here. So you can lock up to 5.15% APY with a certificate. So you can open a certificate and you can look on here and you can say, okay, how much do I want to give? So right here, a 12-month certificate. Basically, they hold your money for an entire year, and you get 5% back on that. So you can see if you put in a ton of money, you can get a pretty good return. But it all depends on if you are able to go without that money. Because if you take money out of a CD, there's either penalties for that, or you can also just borrow against it. But literally, all you need to do, like, you can open it with as little as like $400, $300, $200 or something like that. This one says Low minimum deposit of only $1,000. Open a jumbo certificate by depositing $75,000 plus. Your boy's not at jumbo certificate yet. Normally jumbo is like the bigger amount that you deposit. You can do a term of 3, 6, 12, 18, and then dividends are compounded every month and at maturity. So what they do is, let's say that you earn 1% and you put in $100. They're going to take that $1 and put it back into the CD for you. So you're going to say, okay, I'm going to start with $100. Next month it'll be 101. Next month it'll be 102. Whatever, until it kicks it over to where, let's say, you're at $111. Then you're making $1.10 for your interest at a 1%. So let's say that you want a 12-month certificate. I'm not going to apply, but all you need to do is just look up high interest rate certificates. Boom, easy peasy. Now there's a money hack that I just thought about right now. If you look online and you see some sort of open a bank account and get $500 or get $1,000 or what have you, I have made money by depositing my work check into that account. And normally it says you need to deposit $500, keep it open for 90 days, and you'll get X amount of money back. They did that with Capital One. That's how I got a little bit of extra cash. And all you need to do is, it says, let me see if I can find it. Capital One savings. It's not a high yield savings. But there's one, like there's specials. I don't, if you can look it up, there is specials where it'll say, you can get $200, $250 with qualifying deposits. And sometimes it's a lot of money. Like they were like, yeah, deposit $100,000. I'm not going to do that. But if they say, you can earn $1,000 with us, but normally they typically have like a tier, and it'll say, if you deposit $500, you'll get 10 or $20 or something. All you need to do is just leave that money in there for 90 days, which to me is just like, okay, I can make 10, 20% on my money and just have it sit there. And then when it's done, I transfer it out. To me, that seems like a no-brainer. So I'm always on the lookout for the pop-ups and the ads that I see that are like, hey, get free money, open an account with us, or, get free stocks if you download this program, or do something. Now use your discernment and don't just go downloading everything and putting money everywhere, because then you're going to lose track of it. But this right here is going to be the easiest holistic way that you can just get a quick view of your finances. If it seems daunting, do it one day at a time. Find out what your rent is. Find out what your mortgage is. If you want, I can get on a phone call with you and do it for you, and we'll be done in 5 minutes. And then you can just copy it and paste it, invite me to one of your sheets. I can paste the formula in there, and then all you need to do is just fill it out. It's like one of the easiest things in the world. So breaking it down, all you need to do is worry about your fixed expenses, worrying about your varying expenses, and after you pay your bills, you come in here and you can update it. Then you have your credit cards, unless what I do is I don't even put these in anymore because I pay them with my credit card. So they're already factored into this, and I don't want to double charge myself. However, I would like to come in under what I think I'm actually profiting versus going over. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather say that I only have $100 when I really have $150, as opposed to saying that I have $200 when I really only have $150. And then all you need to do is have your total outcome, your total income, do a couple of the formulas, the sum and the minus, and you just pick which cells there are. And then you write in your paychecks. And your paychecks are just going to go into the total income. And then your income minus your outcome is your total profit. Now, let's say for some reason you didn't get your bonus and you didn't pay off your car. So January, you went positive. You went positive $1,300. That's a good month. You can say, you know what, I have $1,300 to fall back on, what have you. But let's say that you went a little bit crazy because you made $1,300 and now you have $1,000 payment for your credit card because you were like, dude, I have this money, I can spend it. And then let's say for your other credit card, you spent $600. And that's pretty much about it. You didn't get a bonus and you just overspent a little bit. Now you could say, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm negative $50 for this month. I need to slow down on my spending, or I need to find a way to make up money. You can go mow lawns, do some surveys online. Like, there is a ton of ways to get a side hustle on. So all you need to do is just say, you know what? I did a side hustle. I made $50. I'm good. I broke even this month. Not the best, but at least I'm not going into the negative. Yes, you don't really know all the adult stuff because I've had no one to teach me. It just seems like everything is just thrown on you and everything is juggling. Yes, it is the worst, and that's exactly why I started streaming to talk to people like you, Tim. My little 4-year-old twin cousins that always roaring like a dinosaur just constantly. Side hustles is literally anything that you want. Like, there is somewhere someone is going to pay you to do something, whether it's doing their yard, whether it's helping to paint. There's a side hustle where you can do chores for people that are disabled and they can't do them. Like, just literally, I do not know all of them off the top of my head. Just literally Google side hustles, side income, you know, what have you. Like, there is, you can proofread, you can do vocal stuff, you can do audiobooks. Like, there is a ton of things that you can do to just get a little bit of extra money. And there's sometimes you can even do surveys that you can look online and you could say, oh yeah, we make, 25, 50 cents or what have you. But you do enough of those and it's going to add up. Like, I've always wanted to work from home, but nothing is really sufficient enough. Like, not long-term garbage wages or other things. But it depends on what you're good at. And if you're young, don't be too hard on yourself. Like, it is very, very difficult to get a work-from-home job because you have to have the experience. And people aren't just going to trust you from what I've noticed. They might just trust you out of the gate, and you can just, do customer service working from home. And then that saves you gas. That saves you wear and tear on your car. That saves you time. Like, I value work-from-home jobs immensely. But somebody said, am I reading this top to bottom or left to right? You're reading it top to left to right to bottom. But literally all you need to do is look at this. You have your January, and I can do a fill color right here. You have your February. You could do a fill color right here. You have your March, which is, let's do that color. Cool. That is how you're going to read it. You're reading it on months at a time. That's all you're doing. You're breaking down your finances by month. And then what you can do is, when you're looking down here, you have your yearly. What would be cool? Did somebody just call me? No. He says on my Google email. Okay, cool. That is all that I wanted to talk about. What's up, 12 Stones? Long time no see. Hey, you said exactly what I said. Or maybe I just read what you said. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns on what this graph looks like? And anything out of the blue where you're like, this doesn't make sense. You're more than welcome to chat it. You're more than welcome to get on Google Voice. I have my phone number on the screen. You're more than welcome to give me a call. I will be more than happy to answer any kind of questions for you. Because I feel like this is just like a basic way to get a little bit of handle on your finances. And like I said, I'm watching that Netflix series. I think it's like How to Get Rich or something. And he has some really, really good... He has some really, really good points. If I set up a Google Voice account, would you wait a minute for me to set it up? Sure. That's been 1 minute. The other thing that we can tackle in another video is debt. Debt and interest will suffocate you and trap you beyond all belief, and you'll fear like you're just scraping to get by. Now, if somebody says, I have a ton of debt and I need help to get out of it, that's probably the advice that I would give them is get rid of the Netflix. Get rid of all of the super expensive things. Go down to very, very base level expenses and knock that debt out. And you can even do that if you're like, I just want to pay off my car. Eat ramen and make yourself live as basic as possible. Don't go out to eat. That is like the biggest money suck ever. Going out drinking is a huge money suck. Like that money you could put towards one of your bills. Like if you spend, I don't know, let's say you go out with your friends on the weekend and you normally spend, let's say $40 on just drinks. That's an extra $160 a month that you could put towards your car. Or let's say that you go out with your friends and you get dinner and food and all that other stuff. Yeah, you can just pick a random number. And then you do that. Let's say you do that twice a week, and then you times that by 4. That's $600 that you're spending a month. To most people, that's a car payment. You could get rid of one of your car payments and bring down your loan by that much more. And that way you have that $600 to where you can do that if you want month after month after month after month, because you were already spending that for a car payment. Use your money to work for you. Do not have yourself work for money. That is like the most depressing thing ever. Here we go. I can go like this. Kind of. Nah, I'm going to go like that. I'm still going to keep it. What do you think of Dave Ramsey's financial advice? He's probably the most mainstream money voice known, but I never really looked into him. He is great. The only thing that I don't really agree with Dave Ramsey on, like he is very, very, very smart. I actually have the Total Money Makeover. Yeah, you have to use your own phone number, Dr. Bowtie. It transfers that number to your number. It's weird. You can just Google it. What's the point? What's the deal with Google Voice? But I do have some of Dave Ramsey's books. He is very, very good. What I don't agree with him on is the getting out of, or he's very good at getting out of debt. But once you're out of debt, I don't really agree with him. Because he's like, don't get a house unless you can pay cash for it. I think that that's not the best approach. I think it works for some people. This is just my opinion. If it works for some people, it works for some people. My whole thought process is you're going to have to go into debt at some point, but there is good debt and there's bad debt. Like you shouldn't be in debt to your credit card company. You should be able to pay that off every month. If you're not, you probably can't afford that. But his getting out of debt and his snowball method or the avalanche method are both very, very good methods for getting out of debt. The avalanche method is where you find one sum that you owe and you aggressively pay that off until you go to the next one and then you pay that off. The snowball method is more like you pay a little bit to each one, and then as one gets paid off, then you add that amount to the next one, if I remember them correctly. And then so let's say that you have a car and you're paying $500 a month, and you have a let's say a microphone that you for some reason or let's just say the wheels for your car, you're like, man, I gotta get really nice rims, and you're spending $120 a month on those. And let's say that you owe $5,000 left on your car, and on your wheels you owe, let's say, $500, roughly random. What you would do is you would aggressively pay down the wheels to where once you're done paying that $500, oh gosh, hold on.
Call from
Bowtie.
To accept, press 1.
Hello, Bowtie.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
Fantastic. Maybe a little less nervous than I was yesterday. I was bumbling around.
Nice, nice. Give me 2 seconds. Let me finish talking about the snowball and avalanche method, and then I will get to you. Cool?
Got it. I'll mute my mic until then.
Appreciate you. So what you would do is you would take that $120, you would pay it down aggressively to where you're at that $500, and then you would take that $120 and put that towards your car payment. So instead of that being $500, now that would be $620. I do have another spreadsheet that I have that said how much I had left to owe on something and how many more payments it took and what the payment was. And then I would just sit there and just keep, once I paid something off, I would apply that balance to the next one because you're already paying it off. But now instead of only spending $500 for your car each month, now you're spending $620, which is going to drastically reduce the amount of months that you have to pay for interest and that you have that car loan. So I would just, I think the snowball method is where you just order them in sums of smallest to largest, and then you pay them off. And then once you pay them off, you add that balance to the next one, or whatever your payment was to the next one. So you could start with something small like $25. And let's say you're paying off like a ring or jewelry or something. And then you're like, okay, that $25 is going to go to the next $50. And then once you pay that one off, then you have $75. And then it goes to another $100 payment. And you can go so fast through your debt that you'll be like, holy cow, I have so much more money than I know what to do with. And then that's when you can start looking at like investments and maxing out your contribution to your 401k. Like that is where I disagree with Dave Ramsey. He's very, very good at getting out of debt. But when you get out of debt, I'm not really on the same page as him because I think that you can use that money for other things. But it's also just because I'm young and I have a greater risk tolerance. Okay, Tim, talk to me, Goose. What is going on?
Hello.
Okay.
So are you able to hear me?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. So I'm wanting to move out with my girlfriend. I still live with my parents, halfway to help them because they're both paralyzed, but halfway because I don't really know what I'm like stepping into per se. What's like a good? How do I know when I can afford to move out? Like, what are like? How do I like save for that? Because right now I just take $100 out of every paycheck, throw it in a jar, in my room, stick a jar full of cash.
Yeah.
And I have $3,000. Keep in mind I don't really have any bills, but $3,000 in there. I try to stay around $4,000 in my checking and like $2,000 in my savings or so. But I don't want to completely drain that. But also I want to make sure I have enough to be able to support myself. How do I know when I have like enough?
Okay. Great
Capital.
Yeah, great freaking question. It looks like you're at a great start. You have almost $10,000. Where do you work? Is it like a salary job or is it hourly?
It's hourly. I get paid weekly. I take home like $500 some dollars a week.
Okay, so you get about $1,000. You get $2,000 a month.
Ish.
Okay.
Yeah. My only bills really are my that's my car payment. I'm selling that so I can get a more because right now I have a 350Z. It's not a very practical car.
Right.
So I wanted to sell that and get more of a little speedy sedan. But I just I'm sorry. What was the question again? I'm sorry, I lost train of thought.
No, you're good. So you make about 2,000. So we're gonna break this down. I'm doing it right now. If you can look at it on the screen. So
I can, but there's a little bit of a delay. So
yeah, that's fine.
I'll turn the live stream down and try to follow you.
Yeah, that's fine. So you have. I'm gonna take this amount and I'm gonna put it over here. That way, it's not messing with our calculations. So do you have? You said that you don't really have any bills. Are you helping your parents out with any kind of rent or anything like that?
No, it's. My dad's a veteran, and my mom's what's the word? Like I don't want to say like guardian, but you know.
Okay, she's like the caregiver?
Yes, that's the word.
Okay,
so mostly just like physical stuff.
Okay, so here's my question. Do you have any fixed expenses that you have to pay every month?
Car payment's like $250. Insurance is like $130. Netflix and gym are like $20 each.
Okay, and then that's it because you're not really helping them out with rent or mortgage, so you're putting away a good amount of what it is that you're making.
Yeah, I think so. At least I hope so.
Okay.
I do have a 401k that I had when I was 18. Someone told me I should do it as young as possible.
Very good advice. You should 100% do a 401k. That compounding interest is not one to be messed with. But you can't really touch that unless you're going to incur penalties. And so just think of that
Yeah.
as that's a future you
Oh
benefit.
yeah, I'm not touching it right now.
Yeah, but what I would look at is find out how much you can contribute to that yearly. And then,
The 401k.
yes, because the more money that you have in there early on, assuming that the economy doesn't just die, it's going to keep building. And that's like your nest egg.
Let me see. I can tell you the percentage I put away. Give me 1 second here, if I can get into my account.
And quick question, do you have any kind of employer match?
What do you? Can you explain that?
Yeah. So if you're like normally when you sign on with your job, they say if you put in 3% or 2% to your 401k, we will also match that.
Yes.
Are you
They
going?
do some sort of matching at least.
Okay. Do you take full advantage of that? Like if they say we do 3%, do you put in 3%?
I'm not sure of the what exact.
Did he just leave? While he's trying to come back, I will highly, highly recommend to everybody in here, if your employer has a 401k match, then what I want you to do is make the contribution up to whatever it is. Like if somebody says we contribute 2%, at least contribute 2% because that's free money that they're giving you and you're leaving it on the table. Thanks, 12. I appreciate it. I've never really been in any huge debt or done with my money at this point, nor do I really have any bills, but I like your points, and I would see how someone in huge debt / need help would need this. I think it's good to also just look forward and find and see what you can expect yourself to make if everything stays the same. Because you don't know what life is going to happen. You might want a bigger house, or you might have a huge expense coming. Like, I'm a huge, huge, huge proponent of having a safety cushion of at least 6 months of your expenses in case you lose your job or something.
Call from.
Both times the second time.
To accept, press.
There we go. You back?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So I don't know if you heard me on the stream, but I would highly, highly, you don't need to tell me, but I would highly, highly, highly recommend to at least find out what your employer match is for their 401k and then at least match that.
I mean, I don't mind. I mean, there's nothing really to discover about what percentages are being matched or anything.
Okay, cool. And then do you have any other expenses?
Other than like Spotify or anything little like that, not really.
Okay, how much do you pay for Spotify? Do you have like the student discount?
No, I'm not in college. Whatever like one listener is.
I think it's like 10
bucks, 15 bucks.
I think it's like 10 bucks a month, right?
Something like that. Okay. View details. I don't know how long or how quickly stuff like this is supposed to stack up.
It takes a long time. It takes a long time till you get a good amount of money in there.
It says my rate of return is 7.82%.
There you go.
I don't know if if that's good or bad. I have a 9% elective deferral. My contribution for 2023 was $800 some, and the employer was $239. So it must not be a great match or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Or you could be going above and beyond what it is that they're asking. They might only match like the first 1.5%.
Yeah. Okay.
But what I would do is I would find out, because you said that you want to get out of your parents' house and you want to move in with your significant other. What I would do is I would find out how much that cost of living is, and you can put it into one of these a month, and then you can see, because right now you're profiting about $1,500, $1,570, so about $1,600 is your profiting for the month. And
I should probably mention my credit card. It's like $80 to $100 with gas.
okay.
I use exclusively my credit card for gas. I just get the gas for the week and pay it off in full at the end of the week.
Okay.
I have pretty good credit from that.
Yeah. Do you have like any points or rewards on your credit card?
Ooh, it's Discover. I don't. I think they do kind of like a monthly thing, where it's like whatever cash back on fast food this month, or 1 month it was gas. I made some money then.
Okay. I would urge you because you might not have a big expense coming up. It depends on if you're going to be on the rent or mortgage with your girlfriend, I believe you said. That's when they're going to check your credit. But when you go for like another credit card, they're going to run a hard hit on your credit and it's going to make it drop a little bit, but it'll go back up. But what you can do...
Why does checking my credit score make my credit score drop?
It's not you checking it, it's the business checking it. You can check it all day through like Credit Karma or I know Capital One has a credit checking type software, and Discover probably does too.
Yeah, I get like in the mail, I get like a little graph.
Yeah. And so it's the business. I don't know why they do it. Like, I think credit scores are a sham, but that's the way the system's set up. When they have to look at it, it's going to take a hit because they're going to say, hey, what is he going to use this credit for? Which is the whole point of credit. But I digress.
I
But
thought credit was just like a reputation system.
credit is basically saying how good you are with debt. The higher your credit score, the more money they want to give you, so that way they can make the more money off of you.
Yeah.
So in theory, it is, yes, a reputation. But if you have a high credit score, they'll say, wow, Zach will have a $100,000 balance and he's going to pay it off on time every time. So we know that we can consistently go to him and get more money out of him, which is why people with high credit have really high limit credit cards because they know that they're going to pay it back.
You got that Black American Express or whatever.
Yeah, the black card.
Yeah.
So as it sits right now, you're at about $1,500 a month profit that you have the wiggle room. Now, when you move out of your parents' house, none of this stuff is going to change. So you're always going to have that 530 as your total outcome. But all you need to do is figure out how much the rent is on the place that you want to move in with your girlfriend. And if you're going to half that, or if you're going to take on the full responsibility of paying that, or if she is going to do that. Like, how much is rent in your guys' area?
I wish I'll just look at my average rent cost in, I don't know, Claire.
What's up, LT3?
The average rent for an apartment is $810.
Okay. So you can do 810. For those of you following at home, you can do 810 divided by 2. So it'll be 405. Never said math was my strong suit. That's why I have a calculator. So as it sits right now, you're profiting at about $1,000 a month if you and your partner split that rent. That's with no other additional income or what have you.
No side hustles.
Exactly. So if you're going to do something, if you're going to work for Uber Eats or DoorDash or something and make a little bit of extra money, that's going to go a decent amount away. And then find out how much you have left to owe on your car. See if you can pay that off and or trade it in or whatever you said that you were going to do with it. Like,
Yeah,
there's
I got like a 1,000 something left. I think I'll just take the hit because it won't affect me too bad right now. So I figured I should get that out of the way while I can still be, comfortable.
Exactly. So once you pay that $1,000 off on your car, then that gets rid of your car payment. And even with living with your girlfriend, you're still going to profit about $1,300. I would say you're in a pretty good place. I would just watch your finances very carefully because that margin of $1,000 can shrink rapidly if something comes up.
I used to, with my car, a little sports car, I used to just shovel money into that thing on how I could make it look. But now I don't know what snapped inside of me, but I just cannot stand spending money now.
That's good. That's a good thing. And I would say, see if you can contribute more to your 401k.
I taxes. I think she said she was concerned about me having to eventually pay them because the COVID stuff and whatnot, and I was a student at the time. I didn't get all the sort of tax breaks.
Oh yeah.
So are you saying I should do more than a 9% if I can afford it?
I would say like anything that comes down to investing is going to be down to your risk tolerance. If you're going to make big money moves and you're going to like move in with your girlfriend and you're going to do all of that, I wouldn't invest more into your 401k because that's a future you benefit. A lot of people say future me problem, but that's like 65 years old you. So that's 40 years down the road. What you need to take care of right now is you. So you have, I mean, 1,300, you have probably like a year's worth of expenses as it sits right now. But once you start, looking around at what groceries are, what the rent is, if there's anything like renter's insurance, like you're probably going to want to go out to eat with your girlfriend when you go out. You might get faster internet. There's going to be a lot of added expenses, like I said, that are going to gnaw into that extra $1,300 a month that you're getting.
I live in a little bit of the country, and I remember this is just a little side story. But I remember when I first got I still have satellite internet, but we got something through like Straight Talk or something. They give you a little router.
Yep.
And I have I think like 10 megabits per second or something like that. And to me, that is just like blazing. And then people at work talking about their giga whatever internet in town. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's is that what you have right now?
Right now, I would get 3 megabits per second.
Yeah, I just did a speed test and I'm at 120 megabits per second.
I'll go on Ookla as well.
Yeah, I'm at 160.
Well, it's looking good for me because I ain't even bopping.
Yeah, but I understand the low internet game. I get that.
So, I don't know a whole lot about inflation and whatnot. I just know things are getting more expensive, and I'm not making any extra money. Is this ever gonna pop and go back to quote unquote normal, or is this just gonna keep going on an upward trend?
There's two parts to that. One, I think that we're not only going to go into just a recession, I think we're going to go into a depression, because you're talking China and Africa and Iran and Afghanistan and Saudi Arabia and Russia.
I saw something about Iran seized an oil tanker from China.
It was the U.S. seized it from Russia, but the point is that they're all trying to get away from the dollar. And that's going to make our dollar amount go down significantly. And I think a lot of the inflation is man-made. I think that it has to do with corporations just getting greedy and they're able to fleece us for the amount of money that they want. Because the dollar of oil has gone down to where it was, but we're still spending $4, $5, $6, $7, $10 a gallon. And it's just them making record profits.
How much do you pay a gallon for gas?
It's like $4.50 here.
Wow, for what octane?
Just 87.
Jeez, I think it's 3 flat upper 2 here in Oklahoma.
Yeah, no, it's expensive here. But
it's $3.50 for 3.
That being said, I would say I think that we're going to go into a depression rather than a recession, and it's going to get decently bad before it gets better. But I hope that it doesn't. So I would say save every amount of money that you possibly could.
What does that look like? Should I be waiting to move out with this impending doom?
I wouldn't put your life on hold for it because sometimes that stuff never comes true. But I would make sure that you have a good fallback plan. Of hey, if stuff hits the fan, can I come back and live with you, mom and dad? Because I love you. And I want to make sure that you guys are taken care of. But I wouldn't live my life in fear. I would just make very educated guesses and because I think that the housing market is going to come down considerably if the dollar gets destabilized.
Huh. There's just a lot of everything is like bittersweet.
You are correct. Yeah, LT,
Well,
I don't know if you were in here when we talked about it, but I think a year of living expenses. But if you can have a year's worth of living expenses based on bread being $1.50 a loaf, but if bread goes to $5 a loaf, you're not going to have a year left. But okay, did I answer your question, Tim? Did I help?
Sir,
Did I help you out?
Thank you very much for helping me out. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I'm gonna
I have to
leave
make
this.
myself a little spreadsheet.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that stuff up on the screen so that way you can just copy and paste, and then you can take these the sum and minus, and you can create your own little spreadsheet.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Cool beans. You're very welcome. Thanks for talking to me. Have a great rest of your day.
You too, bro. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. But I do think that you need to have like 12 months of living expenses and also cash on hand. And some of the like doomsday preppers are like, have silver and gold. I think that's good to have, but I don't think I can go into a store with like a shilling. It'd be like, I want bread. They're going to be like, what am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with this piece of silver or this piece of gold? Gold has intrinsic value just based on the fact that you can use it to create electronics. There's really no benefit to it. Like if society collapses, gold isn't going to do anything for you. What I think. You can be of a totally different mindset, and that's totally fine. Just me. I think silver has a more practical use just because it's not, like $2,000 an ounce. And you can kind of break it off a little bit. But I think it'll come down to a trading type of economy, and I'm talking like end of the world type stuff. I don't think in a month that's going to happen. But I do think that our dollar is going to go a lot less further than it is now if we do get to the whole destabilized, etc., etc. Cool. Anybody have any other questions, comments, concerns before I end this stream? We have streamed for almost an hour. I was going to stream for only like 10 minutes, but we went off on a whole little rant right there, and I appreciate the call, Tim. Silver is very fluid in value, but it comes across to it's only worth what somebody's willing to pay for it or barter for it. If somebody comes to me and I have a ton of food and they say, I'll give you a chunk of silver, I'll be like, best of luck. I'm not taking your silver and I'm keeping my food. What up, DJ? Welcome. Welcome. Also about the inflation, the Fed isn't helping in my opinion. Yeah, I think that it is just sad to see what is happening with everything. Especially with people who live paycheck to paycheck. Like, I can see how it would be very, 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 very stressful. And even for me, it's also very, very stressful because I can't really do anything about it. So I just have to sit there and watch these guys make decisions that's going to affect me. Nothing, DJ. We're just sitting here talking about money and how to create a simple budget. You can go back and rewatch the video because I'm about to end. Anybody have any parting questions? Everything is fantastic. I'm probably going to stream. It's crazy. I had a fever last night of 100 degrees, and I'm streaming now. But I told you guys I'm going to start streaming more consistently. And this is what happens. But I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. It was great talking to you. And I hope to see you guys on the next one. Be sure to follow up on my Discord. I don't know how to share it, but, it's in the bottom of all of my videos. And you can join the Discord. And when I'm streaming, I post in there and say, hey, I'm streaming now. And I put the title. So that way you guys can talk to me. And I always have Google Voice up. That way you can call me and we can talk and chit-chat depending on whatever the topic of conversation is. But we might be talking about debt next time I go. Or I might be playing video games. I have a couple video games that I haven't played in my in Steam. Some of them I'm really excited about, and I haven't even opened them, so I've been waiting for you guys. But apart from that, this was great. Hopefully you guys had fun. Thank you for sticking around, and I will see you guys next time. Peace!